Okay, hey everyone, how you doing? Chris Hardiman back again, and today we have the wonderful Tiffany Pantozzi with us here. And Tiffany's going to talk with us about all real estate, Tiffany Pantozzi, Align, everything that she's done in this market. So hey Tiffany.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. Typical rainy Florida day, but here we are, and we're
not
inside.
Typical. We usually have a lot of sunshine. So
Yeah, that's
today
right.
is not typical. But
No.
The sun shall come out soon.
It will. So thank you for coming.
Yes, of course.
How's your day been up to today?
It's been pretty good, Just getting some work done, had a lunch, and now
New
we're here
year.
with you.
2023 is behind us.
It is.
Good for you. How was 2023? Tough, right?
Looking back over across the year, there was some really tough parts, that's for sure. But
Yeah.
then there were some really great parts. So, to be able to still maintain the same sales volume that I did the year prior,
I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
it's great, right? And I'm grateful for that. I mean, it definitely took a lot of hard work, but I'm grateful for that. So I wouldn't be able to say that it was a bad year for me. It wasn't.
No.
And I think you get what you put in to anything you do, right? So there were hard things and hardships that you had to overcome, and I did,
Yeah, that's incredible. So, to maintain same sales volume 2022, 2023, that's a huge accomplishment right there. What do you attribute that to? Was it growth or was it?
It's consistency in your business, and it's everybody. Unfortunately, in the world that we live in, is used to such instant gratification of things and think that things happen overnight, and instant success overnight. It's not a realistic thing. Maybe for like 1% of people get lucky in life, because that's a lot of luck, right?
Yeah.
But it's years of building a consistent business where I'm consistently branding myself, consistently putting out marketing, consistently networking. And it gives you a foundation of business, right?
Yeah.
That you can depend on. So I think that and not giving up on your business, not giving up on the basic tools that we know work to drive business is so important. So I think that's what attributes to the consistency in my volume year over year.
That's incredible. And that's literally the perfect lead-in to not everything I wanted to talk about here today, but a big portion of what I wanted to talk about here today is, your business and how you built it over the years with consistency, but so much of what you do, we've been working together for only a couple months now, and your business model is different than a lot of brokerages, teams that purchase leads, rely upon that. You don't do that. You've done such a good job building a social media following. You work on your social media marketing so heavily. You're creating that content. You're being consistent with getting that content out there. And look, there's a cost to that.
Yes.
That is not cheap, right? Like same as buying leads, not cheap. Creating quality social media content consistently.
The difference, though, is you can buy a lead today, tomorrow, whatever, and you're never going to be in control of that, because you're always dependent on the next service or provider that can sell you a lead, instead of spending the time and money on building yourself and your brand to attract business to you and, be able to build something that you own, essentially. In our brokerage, and the way that I approach this business is very different. The way I've approached real estate and being a realtor has been different from the day I walked into this industry, because.
And when was that? When did that start?
I think that, it was like 7 years ago or so.
Okay.
And I just wasn't impressed by the real estate industry.
Okay.
I wasn't there, and I felt that the bar needed to be raised, the expectation of service, the level of expertise needed to be raised. And I just wanted to do things differently. Like, I'm not the agent that's going to wear a name tag on her shirt. It's not my vibe. It's not my brand. Like, I'm just doing things differently. There's an element of cheese that I feel like has like cheesiness that's been in the industry for so many years in like that old school way. Yeah. So from when I first came into the industry, I was, already doing things differently, using social media heavily. I remember my first broker like looking at me like I was crazy and had 10 heads, because they didn't yet get it. 7-8 years ago, So for me, it's about attraction marketing, branding myself, helping my agents in my company realize who they are, how to promote themselves as the brand, right? Because it was funny, we just at lunch were talking about, it's essentially it's the player, not the team. What was the quote that it was?
I don't.
What was it, Duvan?
Oh, it's the name on the back of the jersey, not the name on the front.
It's the name on the back of the jersey, not the name on the front.
We use that in mortgage a lot.
But it is, right?
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true.
It's the name on the back of the jersey, not on the front. So when at Align Real Estate, I tell people, this is your umbrella. But why are people going to bring business? They're calling you.
Yeah.
So let me help you build your brand with the support of the umbrella to help you, because again, another cheesy little saying is you could, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat forever.
Correct.
So I want to teach the agents that are working with us, like how to build the brand, how to attract business so that they're not dependent on the Zillows of the world.
Of course. No, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I completely get it. And, it's interesting because you started as an agent. You made a decision to go heavily into branding yourself, marketing, doing all of that, perfecting those tools, and then made that transition into a team lead and more of a mentor leadership role, teaching other agents how to do that. It's awesome. So in your career, because now when you have an agent that comes in, of course, they have the tools that you provide them to be able to learn, grow those things. At what point in your career trajectory did you, and it might have been very early, think to myself okay, I can't do all this anymore. I need to hire outside services. I need assistance with the content creation. I need assistance with the post-production, because now you've got a lot of people assisting you.
Right.
When did you make that paradigm shift?
Well, first, people have to realize, and not just in real estate, in business, any business, you got to pay to play. You can't have a scarcity mindset. Okay. No. You have to have an abundance mindset. And when I say that, it's things cost money. And yes, you can only do so much. So back in the day, how did I get started? I bought a little gimbal. What did it cost me? $300.
Yeah.
I put my iPhone into it and I walked around and I made content, right? And then I used free little apps on my phone and I'd sit in bed at night and make my silly little videos.
Yep.
But there was a point where I knew I needed to raise the bar. I knew I wanted to take that next step. So I knew that I probably should hire a professional. I'm not a video editor. My best, time
it's very
is
hard,
not
by the way.
spent editing video.
Yes.
I could be out prospecting, doing other things, building marketing campaigns. So I knew I couldn't be the editor any longer. I had to invest in that, right? So there becomes a time where you have to realize you have to start reinvesting into your business when you can, so that you can take that next step of growth. So for me, I again realized, sure, I'd like to put that few extra $1,000 in my pocket, but that's a scarcity mindset. I need to pay to have that higher end videography. That's going to get me more views, more exposure. And I'm also going to get back some more of my time, right? Of course. Because time is so valuable too, right?
Our most important asset.
Most important. So, so slowly I realized that and started bringing on team members. And again, it came at a cost, but now I have this so much momentum, and the money that I invest, it definitely comes back to me tenfold when I'm able to, get recognition, because you want to be omnipresent. You want to be everywhere.
Yes.
I can't possibly manage all platforms, all content at all times.
No, you can't.
You have to hire help. So I do have an in-house person that I hired as a full-time marketing manager. And that was an incredible, it was definitely a scary investment to make, because now you're like, oh my God, somebody's depending on me every month. I have to pay them before I pay me. And in real estate, we don't know for sure a deal's going to come in that month, right? So you have to be smart. It's a business, right? We're running a business. You have to manage your money so that you always have the money to pay your team before you even can pay yourself.
Correct.
That can be scary, right?
Very scary, but
you have to take risk versus reward, right? You have to take risk if you want to be an independent business owner, which we all are essentially as realtors. We run our own business. Otherwise, go get a 9-to-5 and collect your paycheck, right? So if you don't have the stomach for that, maybe real estate's not necessarily for you. And I think that's where, unfortunately, the real estate industry, again, has some negative aspects to it, is that there's so many part-time people here that are dealing with people's most valuable assets, and they're providing a subpar service, and level of expertise that it really reflects poorly on the ones who do it full time at a high level.
Yes.
And it dilutes the value of what we really are providing. So again, I kind of just always go back to just wanting to do things better, provide better service. But yeah, you got to invest. And so I'll tell you that my best advice for people at this point is that maybe you don't have the budget for a full-time in-house person, but there's some great virtual options where you can pay people that are at a lot lower price point virtually to help you with some of those tasks that you need to stay relevant. Are you doing a newsletter? Are you blogging or and vlogging?
Yeah.
Are you posting on Instagram and Facebook
hold
and
on one
YouTube
second.
and TikTok?
Wait, what is N vlogging?
Vlogging, I meant. And
vlogging.
vlogging.
And vlogging.
Yeah, like
okay.
Vlogging and vlogging are different.
Listen, every day on this social media game, I learned something new. So thank goodness there wasn't something new that I didn't know.
And vlogging. Yeah. So,
I love it.
But there's a lot of things. Are you doing a mailer? Are you so many things.
So, all right, you just brought up a really interesting point. Are you doing a mailer, right? These are the traditional, in my mind, when I think of traditional real estate marketing activities, that's something that comes to mind. So are your agents still leveraging and deploying some of those more traditional real estate marketing activities?
Absolutely. I mean, so many people, those are some basics, going back to the basics, the foundation of getting in somebody's mailbox,
every day.
It works.
Yeah.
And so many people are so focused on, social media, but you have to also think about your demographic in your neighborhood. How many people are on Instagram every time I'm posting? Well, in my demographic, in my neighborhood that I target, it's a older demographic, and it's an affluent neighborhood. They may not be watching my Instagram. I need to get into their mailbox.
They probably aren't.
They probably aren't. They may not be watching my YouTube. So sure, can you hit the younger demographic, but are they the ones that own the homes in your neighborhood that you're trying to get in front of? Maybe not. So if you're not doing a mailer campaign, you might be missing out on that, right? One of the things that I didn't start early in my career that I beg people to realize don't miss out on it is you have to farm. I used to be like, I'm not going to farm. Who farms? That's so old school, right?
Got to do it though, right?
You have to farm, right? I used to. So it's funny because my business, when I first started, it was so spread out, talking about
spread out meaning all over Orlando. Okay, yeah.
I'd be driving from Windermere to Seminole Woods, over by UCF. No, that's insane, right? But at the time when you're a hungry new agent, you're like, I will take business anywhere.
You get what you get and you don't make a fit, which I say to my kids all the time. But it's true. But it's true as a new agent, as a new loan officer.
But if you really want to focus and not have to drive 30, 45 an hour to go get business because you want business in your backyard, you better be farming a little, right? So I think that, yes, you have to have some mix of traditional, tactics with some new age tactics and combine them all. I'm actually going to be launching something soon to help realtors. I'm working on a marketing VA program.
Is this an exclusive reveal? Are we getting a first glimpse?
Yes, you are. Nobody knows about this.
Tell us all about it. I'm leaning in.
Well, I just find that so many agents need help with marketing.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about social media marketing. This goes beyond. Again, we're talking about mailers. We're talking about a newsletter. We're talking about a blog and a vlog, whatever it might be. We're talking about so many things that build your brand and give you consistency and get people to know, like, and trust you, right? So it's a bigger bubble of what it consists of marketing that's required to be successful in business.
Got it.
Any business, right? They need to get in front of people to get customers. So
is this just for agents on your team?
No, I'm going to offer it to all agents.
Really?
Yeah, because
is it going to be hyper local content or stuff that can go broader?
So what we're going to do.
Sorry if I'm making you go into it all here.
No, but I think that just your business changes over time. You change over time. I've been in the business 7 or 8 years. I don't forget the date that I actually started this business.
We're not going to put you on the spot.
But, I find that what I enjoy the most is I really enjoy the marketing aspect. And
because you get it.
I feel that I'm quite successful in that niche of the business. And I feel that I can really help people in that space. And I am very passionate about it. And I have fun doing it, right? Am I good at selling houses? Sure.
Yes.
Do I love working with buyers and sellers every day? Maybe not as much as I did when I started.
Well, I mean,
Sometimes
you're a mother now.
I'm a mother
work-life
now.
Balance.
It's hard. I mean, I
Correct.
still love doing it, but like I don't have the capacity that I did before, right? To be running around and answering people's phone calls and emails at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. I'm not doing that anymore. I have a little girl at home. Like I'm building my family. I'm in a different phase. So I guess it's interesting is that like I love the mentorship aspect. I love the marketing aspect. So creating something that I think people can get a lot of value out of is something that I'm trying to create.
Okay. When are we going to see more of that? Expect to learn a little bit more about it publicly.
Hopefully by mid-year.
Okay.
Realistically, you
That's
know,
super exciting.
But yeah, so it's something that can help agents all over, and hopefully, you know, it will.
Cool. I love it. All right. So someone who's been doing this as long as you've been doing the social media thing and doing it at a high level, doing it well. Of course, no one's perfect. I'm sure you've tried a lot of things that have been unsuccessful. You've been like, all right, this didn't get the result I wanted. I'm not doing this anymore. And then, of course, the things that you're doing consistently, you've seen great results with. Can you hit us a couple high level? What things work? What things do you think might work, but then the deployment just wasn't there? Give us the good ones. Give us some of the ones that perhaps people think would be great, but really in actuality don't really work that well.
Well, I think first of all, people need to realize there's a lot of noise on social media. You feel like there's all these coaches now and they're all screaming, telling you what you should be doing, right?
Yeah.
Half of these coaches aren't even realtors, never have been before. And, you know, and I feel like it creates this level of FOMO or like level of anxiety for agents, like feeling like they're not doing enough, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's people overthink things too much. That's what stalls them from getting any progress on getting started in social media.
I am guilty of that.
Everybody is.
I am so guilty
Even
of the
today,
overthinking.
I don't always feel like being in social media, right? It's a necessary evil for my business, but you know, I think that everybody has to realize that there is no one perfect formula that if you follow, you're going to be a Instagram superstar or something like that, right? Everybody has their own, you know, special spark. That's what makes them special and why people are going to want to follow and listen to them, right? So I think there's a few keys that really people need to realize. No matter what platform you want to do, no matter what you're talking about, if you're not consistently doing it, then just stop wasting your time. Because consistency is key in any of these initiatives you're going to do to get out there on social media and see results.
Yeah.
Just one post isn't going to get you a buyer, right? Like they need us. People are voyeurs. They watch, right?
Yeah.
They're going to watch you over time and they're going to slowly build trust with you. They're going to start to like you, you know, then they might reach out to you. Maybe, maybe not. But
Does
it happens over time.
consistency mean frequency? Like more is better? Or does it just mean, hey, if you're going to post once, twice a week, post once, twice a week?
Totally. Listen, that's enough. As long as you keep doing it once or twice every week, right? You don't need to just post, oh my God, it's Tuesday and I have to post every Tuesday. So I'm just going to post some stupid post that's nobody's going to like, you know? No, don't just post to post. Post with, you know, real reason and intent to like put out good content. But if you're going to do it every week, once a week, twice a week, whatever it is, you know, and be consistent with it. The other thing is that people think like, oh my God, I need to go out there and like be dancing in a house and that's like going to get me viral. I have seen people that have millions of views on one reel that happened to go viral, but that didn't translate to followers or actual business for them. Right? So it's important to realize that what is the content you're putting out and what is that going to say to somebody? What kind of reaction is that going to create with somebody to want to do business with me? Right?
Yeah.
So this is something that happens over time as they start to watch you. And that's why the content you put out, like be an advisor, be putting out real relevant, hyper local information that people are going to know you are the pro when they want to talk real estate, right?
I love that. Yeah.
And it's down to like in the community, like what's happening in the community, what new restaurants and shops are opening in the community, what's going on in the schools, what's going on locally. Like there's so many things you can talk about. That's like, there's content that every day you could be making. So there's no reason to say, I don't know what to post.
Yeah.
Like there's so much to post.
Correct.
You know, there's so many ideas. So I think that it's interesting because I have friends from all over the country. I have a very strong referral network nationally. And I'm always asking other great friends that have huge followings, lots of success in business, like what works for you, what works for you. So this one girl I know, she's a great TikToker.
Okay.
And she's like, yeah, it's not like one specific post is the one that like everybody calls me on, but
Yeah.
it's the consistency. She does tours of model homes. Then she does
that's her
tours
thing.
of businesses. And then she just talks about the market. But she's a true advisor of her hyper local market.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, she really knows her stuff, right? So, and she's great on TikTok. Versus another, guy that I know that he's, great on another platform. So it's not like there's one platform that will make or break you.
Yeah.
There's not one kind of content that's going to make or break you. You have to find your people. Like, what is the demographic that you want to target, and then speak to them in things that they want to connect with.
So for the new agent starting out who's trying to find their platform, trying to find like sort of their true niche so they come across like, more authentic, do they just sort of hit all the platforms until they figure
pick
out?
one and become great at it.
Got it.
So I focused very heavily on Instagram, and yeah, sure, I reposted things I did on other platforms so that there was some, exposure there on Facebook or TikTok.
Yeah.
If you're doing a reel on Instagram, of course you should be posting it on TikTok, and of course you should be posting it on YouTube Shorts. They're different platforms, different exposure.
Yeah.
You already made the content. What's one of the biggest mistakes people make is they don't optimize their content. If we're sitting here and making this video, right,
Yeah.
and we spent the time and the effort and the money, whatever it might have been.
Yeah, Geo's not
you
cheap.
better, right, your guy is not cheap who you hired to do this for you. So you better optimize that content, cut it up into different reels. But even the same reel that you're going to make can be put in a TikTok, can be put in a short on YouTube. Now you're optimizing your exposure for it, right? So there's so many times I see people not optimize the content that they already have. And that's a miss, especially if you're investing time and money into making content.
Okay. All right. So that makes all the sense in the world to me. What have you done that, and this is where you have to be vulnerable, what have you done that wasn't as successful as you thought it would be on social media?
Well, it's interesting because sometimes you post things, you're like, this is going to be great, right? And then it doesn't do as much.
So it's almost like a specific content idea. You're like, this is awesome. I love this. And then it goes up. You're not getting the engagement. You're not getting the stuff.
Okay, so we did this series where we were doing it was actually a cool series where it was more of a vlog experience where I had a videographer following me.
Yeah.
But we did these videos of, they were like little shorts of movies snippets where there was a realtor in a movie, and we would play the realtor snippet from the movie, and then I'd give my comment. I thought they were hysterical. I thought they were great, but they don't have any views. It's like barely any views. Like nobody was engaging with that content or consuming that content. So it's like you just sometimes don't know. And again, that was more of okay, who's gonna watch that? A realtor, would watch that. But I don't, maybe one day a realtor would watch that and start following me, and maybe one day they'll send me a referral. That's a long game
Perfect
approach.
question. Okay, so you post something, you think it's going to be awesome. It really doesn't get what you thought. Do you leave it up?
Yes, you absolutely leave it up.
Okay.
You leave it up, and listen, I think another thing people don't realize is doesn't matter how many followers you have or how many likes you have. That is not what is going to prove whether you see success or not through social media, because it only takes one buyer or seller.
100%.
It only takes one friend to watch something and happen to have a conversation with their friend that is looking to buy or sell. So people need to stop being so worried about how many followers they have, how many likes they have, how many views they have, because it only takes one.
Yeah.
So yes, if I post the content and it's not really optimizing or getting as much exposure as I wanted, I'm still going to keep it because you want more content. You never know what's going to connect with somebody, and how somebody's going to find something and then loop into all of the rest of your information.
It's so funny. I've heard the stories about the mother's friend's son who called because the Facebook algorithm kept pushing it out, and all of a sudden you're 4 degrees of separation away, but they're like, oh yeah, no, I'm buying in Orlando, and yeah, your reel, your short, whatever popped up on I don't get any of the algorithm stuff, but it's remarkable because you're right. It can be 4 degrees of separation away, and you get the call because someone's looking to move to Orlando, Florida, and you were relevant. You were in front of their face.
Absolutely. So that's why, you keep it up. That's why you just keep making the content,
Wow. Okay. So how the hell does a new agent who's starting out balance being a new agent educating themselves, learning how to just be a realtor, write a contract, negotiate a deal, do all the traditional stuff, the farming, the mailers, all that. Now be as good of a social media expert as they can be. How do they, like, how's that possible? Is there like even enough time in the day? Like,
well, if you're getting into real estate, I would hope that you're getting in as a full-time realtor. Okay. We don't have any more.
We're not here to talk about
need for
part-time
any
agents.
part-time realtors.
No.
And if you are doing it full-time, truth is, you immediately starting in this business, you're not going to be like slammed left and right with deals. Like, it's just unrealistic to think you're going to have the time, and you have to time block the time for building your content.
That's my favorite word.
Time blocking. If you don't force yourself to do it, you will not get it done.
Huge time blocker.
So
color-coded calendar on
If you're a
Outlook
new
over
agent,
here.
you better be time blocking, because this is where the momentum will start to build for you if you focus on social media. And it is the future of how people are going to find agents and want to, find people to work with. And
100%.
So if you're not building that foundation for yourself as an agent in today's real estate world, then I don't know that this industry will be, the right place for you 5-10 years down the road.
Did you always have the time blocking discipline, or did you have to?
No,
find
it's
that?
just hard.
It's very hard.
I'm not good about time blocking, but I mean, I know how important the content is. So for instance, there's been ebbs and flows in my business. And I mean, every month we know that we're blocking time for video content. We are doing it every month. I know agents who have done it once a week, and I've seen their business explode because of the effort they put in.
Yeah.
So effort in, results out. You will see it if you put in the time.
Can I ask you another vulnerable question?
Sure.
Because I know my least favorite time block activity that I always find an excuse like, oh, I'm going to push it. I'll do it tomorrow. What's your least favorite time block activity on your calendar? Giovanni's off camera there. Emails right away, real quick.
You have to sit down and do the emails. That's like torture, and the follow up on, prospecting. I don't like doing any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if you need to sell your house, call me. If you want to buy, call me.
Yep.
That's not how it works in real estate.
No.
But I don't want to chase people. It's literally makes me cringe. Like, that this is what I do. If you need me, call me. I'll be here for you.
Yeah.
So it's the hardest part for me in being a realtor in this industry, that you have to stay in front of people. You have to keep conversations going so that you are top of mind. But it's, to me, the least favorite thing is, like, I don't want to be bothering people.
Yeah.
I don't want people bothering me when I'm like thinking about other businesses. Like, I think about, like, don't spam me in my email. Don't call me unless, like, I'll call you if I need you. That's how I work. But
it's so difficult, right? Because as sales professionals, we have to change our mindset that, unfortunately, part of being a really valued sales professional and advisor is assisting people with the largest financial decision in 98, 99% of people's lives. And sometimes that means being persistent because they don't always want to talk about
And I'll tell you, I think this is why I do what I do. And this is why I'm such a big believer in attraction marketing. And I teach this to my agents is like, I do a monthly newsletter because I want to stay top of mind. I do client appreciation events.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Client appreciation events.
I do client appreciation events because I want to stay top of mind. I do social media because I want to stay top of mind. I prefer to do certain things like this versus calling and, like, I don't know, just randomly calling people and like talking to them, which I know is nice too. But I don't know. I just, to me, it's my style is a little bit different, right? Yeah. So I try to put myself out there as a seasoned, experienced professional. I'm always giving great information so that if somebody needs an advisor, I'm hoping they're going to think of me. So my approach is a little bit different than a lot of other people's approach. And listen, not to say that if you're a good cold caller, rock it, because I'm not a good cold caller. I will tell people to F off if they're nasty. Okay.
That is too funny.
My personality is just different. Like I'm different, right? But if you're good at it and it works for you, you do it. Some people will never want to ever do video. And that's not for them. And that's okay too. So it's not to say, like, everybody has their own recipe for success. That's okay, right? Yeah. But for me, I have certain things that I'm willing or not willing to do, and that's okay because I built my business around it. It's
a really good point across the board. And, it is so important to get out there and say, hey, I'm a realtor. I want to help you buy or sell a house. I want to help your friend buy or sell a house. And so many agents and loan officers alike, you know, at the beginning of their careers, they have a difficult time, you know, proudly wearing that badge on their chest. Hey, I'm a realtor. Like, I want your business. I want to help you buy or sell a house. Same thing with loan officers. Hey, like, especially when they did a career change. Hey, I'm a loan officer now. I want your loans. Do you impress upon your agents how important it is to really let their sphere know, let everyone know, like, hey, I'm a realtor. I want your business. This is my profession.
You have to let people know, or they, again, like, I don't need to call them and tell them, but I'm in their email, I'm in their inbox. I mean, their mailbox. I'm in their email.
Yeah.
I am in front of them on social media, like, and talking about relevant things that set me out apart from other agents, because I actually know my stuff, right? So I think that it's important that if you don't let people know, then they're not gonna, how are they gonna think of you first?
And how dreaded is that, you know, you see your family member posting in front of the new house and it's like, oh my God, why didn't they use me? And the answer is as simple as, well, they forgot you sold real estate.
Or not only that, you can't be a secret agent.
No.
Okay, let's talk about that. I mean, you want to be a realtor, you can't be a secret agent. You have to let everybody know that you do this, but it's not just about saying, oh, I'm a realtor and I have my license.
No.
Okay, Joe Schmo.
I'm a
let me just
subject
tell
matter
you,
expert.
You have to be putting information in front of people so they know you know your stuff. They're not just going to use you because you just got your license and they're your friend. You know, they want an expert. So start putting out the content, building their trust, so that they know that when they have a question on real estate, they just saw you posted this great article or this market update. They know you can answer their question.
I love that. That's incredible. So let's talk about being a market expert, but let's talk about the fun side of it, right? We live in Orlando. Orlando has changed so much just in the past couple years. I left for about a decade and I came back.
Where'd you go?
California for like about 2 years, then Colorado for 5 years.
Oh, Colorado.
How'd
you ever come back to Florida after going there?
You know, it's funny. I'm born and raised Orlando. I don't know if you knew that about me.
No, I didn't.
I'm born and raised Orlando. So Orlando is
East Orlando boy?
West Orlando, like Windermere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually, funny enough, no one knows where Clarcona is. But I grew up in Clarcona, like right by the equestrian park. Yeah.
Interesting.
So Orlando was home for me, and the adventure to California was fun. I met my wife there. Incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah. Adventure
Did
to Colorado.
you have kids there, or you just when you moved back to Florida?
So we had our daughter in Colorado, and then we moved back to Orlando. I got back into mortgage banking. I was in mortgage banking out in California. And then we had our son here. So the Orlando that I came back to is completely different in all the right ways than the Orlando that I left. You know, we have Michelin star restaurants. The art scene has improved. Everything about more parks, things great for kids, everything. Like Nona wasn't a thing when I left.
Right.
So you're much more in tune with the local market. What are some of the things that are coming to Orlando in the next 6 months, 12 months, 2 years that you're really excited about?
Well, I did see, and I hope that this stays on the plans, but I did see Tao, the Hotel Tao, was supposed to be coming, and the Nobu restaurant is supposed to be coming within the Tao Hotel. So
Miami girl, you love that.
You know I'm a Miami girl, and I love that. So, like, to me, that's a big step in the right direction.
Yeah.
So I'd be very excited about that because I like to go out and dine. I love going out to dinners, and I like to have a vibe and like energy in the restaurant, you know. So that would be really great to see.
So do you have any idea where it's supposed to be? What neighborhood?
I think O-Town West.
Okay.
I think over there, kind of close to Disney Springs.
Oh, okay.
I think. But things change, right? So I don't know. But I'm excited about that if it comes. I'd be really excited about that to have Nobu here.
Yeah.
And when those sort of brands come to a place like Orlando, it really opens up the doors and the eyes for many other big brands.
Absolutely.
You know, so that is exciting. I mean, we just got the Brightline finally, and there's word that maybe one day it'll connect to Tampa. That would be incredible, right?
Oh my gosh. Just because it'll help make I-4 traffic so much easier.
And connect the two cities. That would be wonderful. So I think that those are some exciting things. I mean, we actually do on our newsletter, we always do what's coming.
Really?
You know, of course, Epic Universe is coming. That's pretty cool.
That's mine.
Is that your excitement? You're
You
excited
know,
for
4-year-old, 6-year-old, we're like big theme park people
Yeah,
at this age.
that's kind of cool.
We get our steps in.
It's
we're
only
out
going to
there.
bring more tourism,
Yes.
more vacationers. We have a major short-term rental vacation home business here.
And that end of Sand Lake Road needs.
We need to keep it going, right?
Yeah.
So that's an exciting new thing that's coming to Central Florida. So, you know.
And your daughter is a little young for
Yeah.
theme parks, right?
Yeah, she's not even a year and a half yet.
Oh, yeah.
So-
No. But you'll get
And
there.
I have not taken her to Disney yet.
You
so
will be annual
when
pass
she-
holders soon enough.
Yeah, we'll see. When she could.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll
I like the way you
see.
said that.
I mean, I'm not going to go wait in lines at Disney. I can't do it.
That's
so.
why they have Lightning Lane.
Yeah, I know. So we'll see. When she could ask me to go, then I'll take her.
Okay, all right. You will see, and you will be an annual pass holder. Yeah, I'm psyched for Epic.
Yeah,
That's going to be really cool. Yeah, I looked at some of the renderings, the attention to detail. Awesome. Nintendo World. I'm all about that. Very excited about that. And anything Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Anything Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's good for Central Florida, like to bring something new, you know? So.
I mean, tourism dollars, that's our bread and butter.
So there's this other thing called Area 15. It's this massive arcade bar, like extravaganza fun place that's coming.
So
well.
like a Dave & Buster's on steroids?
I think so. So
Okay.
there's some cool places.
I'm guessing like iDrive vicinity.
I don't know exactly where it's going to be, but yeah,
Okay.
it's coming. So
I'll
we're
check
going
it
to get
out.
a lot of stuff, and it's going to continue to grow here in Central Florida, which is exciting.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that Florida remains a place that people want to move to, and we're still quite an affordable place to live compared to other top destinations in Florida or coastal cities in Florida. So, you know, it's only an hour to the coast if you want to go over there.
So, I mean, I forget the exact specific. It was like 221 at one point, like a day net of move outs. I know we added over 1 million new Floridians just last year. Do you think that growth continues?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do think that growth continues because I say to people all the time now that ever since COVID, Florida has been found out.
I know.
All
It's
the
not
people
it's
that
not a secret anymore.
It's not a secret
no
anymore.
one, well, we still have some crazy Florida guy.
It's funny
But
because
yeah.
I mean, it was never a secret, but I don't think people really realize the value of living here with our tax benefits, our great, you know, weather, all the things that you can get to in the state and have
Yeah.
access to from coast to coast. I mean, so also, again, what you pay for in other cities, like, you know, in Los Angeles and New York City, and there's major cities, and it's so expensive to live there. And the quality of life that you can have in Florida for a lot less cost with great tax benefits, you know, I think that people are going to continue to realize that. Who wants to be shoveling snow and like wearing coats? I mean,
You know, I actually I stopped answering you earlier when you asked me what brought me back to Orlando, but I'm going to tell you
Part of
right
it is the
now,
winter.
shoveling snow
Shoveling
in
snow.
a coat to get out of my driveway
it's crazy.
was on that list.
you know, I just listen. It's a lifestyle choice for
Yeah.
me. That's not the lifestyle I could ever live. I love to vacation and visit those colder places, but not
Yep.
for very long periods of time. So I think that what people are continuing to realize the values of what we have here in Florida. You know, I think the biggest concern we have on the radar is to pay attention to our issue with insurance for homeowners.
Oh, gosh,
And
yeah.
that's our biggest thing. I think that's going to cause us a lot of trouble with people wanting to live here when they have to realize what the insurance is going to go up to, or being able to be insured or not insured. And
Well, it doesn't get fixed without legislation.
so that's a big
right?
problem the state, I think, is going to have now and continue to see get worse. That could deter people from wanting to move here. And then, listen, politics, right? I mean, I have had buyers, literally, that when DeSantis was doing certain things, there were 2 buyers that were not okay with some of the things that were being done, and
Yeah.
they decided to pull out from wanting to buy here.
Yeah. I mean,
It's going to happen.
you can't ignore it.
It's going to happen.
It's a thing.
You know, so that's a real thing too. And our politics in our country gets worse and worse by the day. So who knows what's going to happen?
Hey, we got an election year ahead of us. It's going to get crazier before it gets more
But
normal.
overall,
I'll tell you that.
Overall, Florida's a kick-ass state to live in
Yeah.
for many reasons. So yeah, I do believe it'll continue to be a very highly desired state where people will continue to want to live.
So I agree with you for what it's worth. I didn't play my cards before I asked the question, but I completely agree. We're going to continue to see the influx of new Floridians coming into the state. you brought up a really interesting point, and I wasn't going to talk about this either today, but you brought up insurance, so we'll talk about insurance, but not so much that, almost more so what I would say are difficult things coming down the line with financeability of product in the marketplace. You do a lot of condos, but not just the condos that everyone thinks of, but you do a lot of nice condos, like really nice on the beach penthouses, really, really, really high quality product. Now, fortunately, a lot of your stuff is new construction, so they're not going to be subject to this. But how on the radar of agents right now are the structural studies that are now finally having to come into play and be required on all these condos as a result of the collapse of the condo down in Miami?
Well, it's so crazy you even bring that up because I grew up in Miami.
Yeah.
And one of my friends that I grew up with and her parents were in that building.
Stop.
So not only, I mean, it's such a real thing for me because we lost her and her parents, you know, and they were some of the most beautiful people you would ever know.
Oh, so sorry.
And it was a terrible, terrible tragedy, right?
Yeah.
And it's, this can go into another rabbit hole of conversation because it just sickens me, the corruption. And, you know, there is in all industry and how that building was not properly managed and, you know, and checked and serviced and how something like that could ever even possibly happen in the United States of America.
I know.
Oh my God,
Building
right?
codes, regulation.
So it's like wild to me just because people are greedy and just lazy and for so many reasons,
but
right?
at the expense of human life.
It's sickening. It's
correct.
disgusting. So I guess that there's a lot of buildings that definitely need to maintain their, you know, inspections and be checked. And I mean, I haven't personally dealt with anything where there was issue where we were so concerned about the building that a buyer didn't buy. But we also don't have as many condos here in Central Florida that we see like they do in South Florida, right?
Yeah.
So it's a much bigger problem in other markets than we see here. And new construction, obviously, they're all being built to such new standard. It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
But I think that the condo world in South Florida will see a lot more trouble.
Oh, there's going to be major fallout there.
And the West Coast and East Coast, any of South Florida, though, you know. But I think that we don't see as much of that here in Central Florida.
Do you think there are any beach communities, pockets that are like hot buys right now? Like they just haven't quite been discovered.
So one of the projects that I'm working on is in Melbourne Beach.
Ooh, okay.
And it's a total, I mean, little secret little spot on the coast that the price per square that those units are selling at right now is the lowest price per square of any other new construction condo in the state.
Really?
Okay. You have both beach and intercoastal access. They are short-term approved. Okay. They come fully furnished, turnkey, and they start at $1 million.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's like, what? It's like a killer opportunity because it's a great little beach town. There's great restaurants, shops, markets. It's not like you're in the middle of nowhere.
No.
You know, it's only 40 minutes from Cape Canaveral where you can literally from your balcony see the rocket ships going off.
That's incredible.
Okay. And you get all that vacationers that also need short-term rentals that are coming in from the, you know, all of the what's it called? The cruises that come in and out of there. I think it's a killer little pocket of beach that you can own.
Yeah.
So if anybody has buyers interested in a beach property, I can totally help them with that.
What's the name of the condo?
They have to call me to find out, you know, because there's a lot of realtors that'll be watching. So if they have a buyer that has a budget of $1 million plus looking for a condo at the beach, call me and I'll help you.
I love that. And then I gotta think with Melbourne too, all the defense contractors moving there, there's probably a lot of great, like, you know, engineers, like all those kind of high salary W-2 jobs, which of course come with it. Then the restaurants come, that, you know, all of those kind of other businesses that support that sort of higher income market. It's probably going to be a great place to be. And even for
listen, if you own homes, own property, and you live here in Central Florida, like getting to the coast in only 1 hour to have a property that is turnkey, you can, you know, lock it up and forget it, and property management will deal with it for you, and you could also use it as investment, and you have access to the beach and to the intercoastal. Like, to me, that's a no-brainer investment property if you want to have a beach property.
Can you get a boat slip on the Intercoastal?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, they have boat slips for lease as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, it's pretty cool. So I just think that, as a realtor, even though we're based in Central Florida, I have clients that are looking to invest, right? Yeah. And I need to know other markets so that I can best advise them in the state of Florida where else would be a good property to invest in.
Yeah.
So, we have agents that work in our company over in Tampa and St. Pete. We have Space Coast, we have Miami, we have New Smyrna. So we kind of spread out, and we're going to continue to expand. We are opening our doors for the first time ever to welcome new agents. So we're going to be exciting. Publicly sharing that we are welcoming new agents. I think we'll probably take a maximum of 10 this year.
Okay.
So that we can really help them and grow their businesses and give them all of our amazing tools and resources. So if you know of any great agents,
I know a lot of great agents.
That might see value from what we have to help them with and teach them, then we would love to talk to them.
So 10 agents this year, that's very strategic and deliberate.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a company that is just going to I just don't want bodies. Yeah. I want real focused full-time agents that want to grow their business, that are going to put in the work, because you got to work.
You got to work.
It doesn't just happen by posting a few cute reels on Instagram. So I want to find the right people that the skill set that I have, the tools that I have in our business that will really help impact their businesses. So I just don't want bodies. It has to be strategic, and I don't want to overwhelm the time. I overwhelm myself, because I can only give so much time and effort to people. So.
And you want it to be purposeful.
Absolutely.
The time you're giving, you want it to really have value.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Tiffany, thank you so much for coming out today. Appreciate you making the drive over here in the unusual Florida rain.
Yes.
Anything else you want to say before we call it a wrap for the day?
I just appreciate the collaboration. I think that one other last tip for people is collaboration is key. And the more collaboration you do, it's a no-brainer. I mean, we're here sharing information and learning from each other, and then we're sharing this with whomever might be watching this video.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, you're putting me in front of your network. I'm going to put you in front of my network.
Correct.
It's a key to success in growing your network, your exposure. Yep. So I'm happy to collaborate on this, and I wish your new podcast the best of success.
Thank you. Someday it'll have a name.
Yeah.
And
I
haven't decided yet.
Maybe we'll do this again in the future, but thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to some great, doing some great business together this year.
Love it. Thanks for making the drive over.
Yes. Thanks.